Okay, so we started streaming. Let me get on to YouTube here and just see if it's actually live.
I don't see anything live on my end.
Nope, I got it on my end.
Do you?
Yep.
Should I close out and go back in, you think?
Nope, I got it on my end. Well, but it sounds good too. Look at
Oh,
that.
should I close out and go back in, you
think? Okay. All right, so we got that.
think? You're proper right now, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, I see it, man. Sweet.
Okay.
That video. Oh, look at us go, buddy.
Look at us go.
Look at go. Cool, buddy.
Okay.
Oh, let me know when you want to hit record on the old desktop, and we'll get after it.
All right, let's go ahead and hit record, and then I'll do the whole ding, ding, ding when it's after the intro, since you probably won't hear the intro. So.
Okay, sweet. Works for me, man.
So let's do the old 3, 2, 1.
Pop.
Pop.
Let's try it again. Let's do another 3, 1. Pop.
Pop. Coming at you from the 37th parallel on America's haunted highway, it's Pixelated Paranormal, your guide to the unusual and the strange.
Everybody, and welcome back to Pixelated Paranormal. This is episode 259, and we're just figuring it out, I think. With me, as always, is Presto.
What's up, all you cool ghosts and goblins, you crococoons and crocodingos and whatever else you want to be?
This is a fun one because we're attempting to stream live video. So if you're on the YouTubes, we start advertising these more often, but yeah, we might start doing live streaming of the episodes. So you kind of get two different worlds. You get the audio, which I kind of do a nice little edit on, and then you get this raw dog here, man, how the sausage gets made.
We're raw dogging it, people. So mistakes are going to be made. Words are going to be mispronounced. We're probably going to screw up reading the show notes, and all the regular podcast people are never going to know the difference, but you will. So it's like a shining little gift from us to you. So, you know what? And I like to point out that other YouTube creators actually charge for this bullshit. So, you have to pay for a membership, and you get the special how the sausage was made. We're just throwing it at you for free. So...
why not?
It's the giving season. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Consider us Santa Clauses.
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah, man. I'm excited you wanted to do this. It's a lot of fun. And it's a true test to see how much we can filter ourselves, how much we need to filter ourselves as well.
And if we completely
And I will start wearing pants.
Yeah, Sean's going to start wearing pants, and if we completely screw up, I'm okay with it, because then this could be the format for the news episodes that I never ever post to YouTube. So either way,
right?
In one form or another, this will continue, so we'll just figure it out. And Isaac, if you're watching, buddy, what's that say, 57 cents 40, or 51 cents 47, baby? 51 cents 47.
Man, if I had pants on, I'd get up and get my hat off of my lamp back there. But no, as you can see, I'm just going all natural, and I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
And then
I just need a haircut real bad.
Cocoa Bites triple chocolate milk stout. That doesn't really taste triple chocolate, but that's what we're drinking tonight.
Well, I'm going with a Baba Yaga stout from Bear Republic, and it may have sat in my fridge too long. I think it's almost 2 years old.
Kind of chunky?
Like me, yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, let's just get into it, shall we, Presto? I should have probably given you the news soundbite as well. Oh, well, we're learning.
Yeah, we're learning.
If if you could have any cryptid Preston living on your big old Duck Daddy farm, what cryptid would you choose to own?
So we just talked about it last episode on the
Hmm?
Tanzania part two. What do the Tanzanians call their little goblins?
The Tokolosh.
Yeah, I would have one of those in a heartbeat. So I don't want to have to go through the ritual of having one, but if I could bypass all that
Hmm.
BS and just get my own little tokolosh in the backyard that it could tend to the ducks and the goats for me, and we could go out. I'd have a drinking buddy and a cigar smoking buddy. That would be the one that I would want because I don't think I want to kick back buds and smoke cigars with Mothman. So it'd have to be the Tokolosh. And plus, he'd be small enough I could like hide him in my pocket, and the world would never know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He could smoke a cigar through that little hole in his forehead. That'd be a fun little party trick.
yeah,
Shit, yeah, man. I think I would like to have my very own cafe of Kentucky Kelly Hopkinsville Goblin. Like
yeah.
three of them, a nice solid three count, kind of bitch backyard. Well, a little girl in LA is that much closer to having her dream come true because rules and animal control officials in Southern California have granted a permission for a little girl to keep a unicorn corn at home provided she follows a strict set of guidelines. Los Angeles County Animal Care and Control this week shared a letter they received from a little girl named Madeline. The little girl wrote, "Dear LA County, I would like your approval if I can have a unicorn in my backyard, if I can find one. Please send me a letter in response." Now, the director, Marcia Maia, replied to the letter along with a pre approved unicorn license, a heart shaped license tag, and a plush toy unicorn until Madeline can find a real one. The license letter included 5 conditions for her to legally keep a unicorn. Number one, the unicorn must be cared for in compliance with all animal caretaking regulations set forth in Los Angeles County Code Title Number 10. Number two, the unicorn is given regular access to sunlight, moonbeams, and rainbows.
Oh,
Number three, the unicorn is fed one of its favorite treats, watermelon, at least once a week. Number four, the unicorn horn must be maintained to be in good health. It requires polishing at least once a month with a soft cloth. And number five, any sparkles or glitters used on the unicorn must be non toxic and biodegradable to ensure the unicorn's good health. Maida commended Madeline for her sense of responsible pet ownership. Now, collectively, let's all say, "Aww."
oh.
Yeah, that's adorable. And also, way to go to LA County, man. That's freaking fantastic that they would go through and actually, support that and go out of their way just to make somebody feel good. I like it.
There was it the woolly rhinoceros? I mean, there have been several animals that have been deemed like the real life unicorn, but one of them I think was the
Hmm.
woolly rhinoceros because of where instead of being on like its snout like a normal rhino, it was actually like on the top of its head. So they dubbed it like the real
Oh, I
life
know what you're talking
unicorn.
about. Yeah.
And that
Hmm.
thing's fucking massive. Like, I don't think that little girl could handle if we could genetically engineer one of those. And I'm just saying, like, she
I
couldn't
mean, you make
polish
a
its
couple of
horn.
them.
Yeah.
Hmm. Make a couple of them and then learn how to shrink them down. It'll be all right.
It's like Jurassic Park. That was the original plot of Jurassic Park that wasn't in the movies. They bioengineered elephants and shrunk them down to make them like dog size, but they were like all stupid and like vicious. And they're like, well, we can't make smaller animals, so let's make bigger ones. How about dinosaurs? And so I feel like that's how that scenario is going to go. So,
You're
whoops.
not too wrong. You're
Yeah.
probably not too wrong. Well, let's get a little nosy with this next story, Presto. In Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, an argument between two men over a golf game led one golfer to bite off the nose of the other one in the middle of a parking lot at the casino. Mark Wells, 51 years of age, in Biloxi, initially fled the scene in a Tesla, because of course he did, before turning himself in, says Bay St. Louis. The nose, however, was not found, due to believe he swallow it whole or spit it out the window. Officers responding to the complaint at the Hollywood night arrived to find a victim with a disfigured facial injury. Investigation determined the suspect, Mark Curtis Wells, had bitten off the nose of the victim.
Did he bite
Officers were
off more
told
than
that
he could
Wells and
chew?
the victim. Oh, Paparuga.
Ooh.
Officers were told that Wells and the victim had been arguing throughout the day over a golf game they played at the resort's course. Wells was charged with mayhem and booked onto the Hancock County Jail, where he paid the required 10% of his $50 fund himself and walked out within 1 hour. According to the Boston Herald, Wells faces up to 7 years in prison if convicted of the felony, which state law defines as a premeditated crime committed with the intent to kill, in which the suspect mutilates, disfigures, disables, or destroys someone's tongue, eye, lip, nose, limb, or other body part. Ah, what the ever-loving fuck. That's why I don't play golf, man.
Yeah.
Gentleman's game my ass.
Disc golf, though, is another story. I don't think I've
Oh,
ever heard
yeah,
of
yeah,
anybody
yeah.
getting their nose bit off in disc golf. Those are a
No,
bunch of
we just got really wasted
11
and threw a bunch
people.
of discs at a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Well, our final news story of this episode is going to get a little cheesy because, Presto, did you hear that Kraft Macaroni and Cheese is being sued over Velveeta's mac and cheese taking longer than it's supposed to be to make it in a microwave?
No.
That's right,
Uh,
Velveeta's mac and cheese claims it takes 3.5 minutes to prepare. But this Florida woman says no, and she's suing the manufacturer for $5 million. Amanda Ramirez from Hialeah filed a suit against Kraft Heinz Food Company for a proposed $5 million. The class action lawsuit will be filed claiming that the food's producer of Velveeta shells and cheese knows it takes longer than advertised to prepare, according to court documents. Ramirez's attorney filed suit in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida. It was filed on November 18th, according to the complaint. In the lawsuit, it says the microwavable single-serving cup of macaroni and cheese packaging reads, "It will be ready in 3.5 minutes." But they are suing because this, Presto, is false and misleading. The instruction says to microwave the cup for 3.5 minutes. The attorney for Ramirez argues this number doesn't account for the other 4 steps required to prepare the pasta. The steps omitted include removing the lid and the pouch, adding water, microwaving, stirring, and other steps according to these documents. These additional steps make it impossible for the mac and cheese to be ready in the stated 3.5 minutes flat. Heinz Food Company said, "We're aware of this frivolous lawsuit and will strongly defend the allegations of the complaint." The lawsuit says Kraft is unfairly profiting off these false advertisements on the Velveeta mac and cheese, as customers expect a well-known brand to be honest with them. The company sells a product at a substantial price premium while using the misleading marketing of ready in 3.5 minutes. Because this instantly catches the eye of a reasonable consumer. Customers pay more attention than they would otherwise because these 3.5 minutes claim. It's like many consumers who seek to stretch their money as far as possible when buying groceries, and also the convenience of making a quick meal. Now, Preston, before you give your rebuttal, I'd like to say, as dumb as this sounds, it's false advertising. I think she has a case, buddy boy.
Yeah, look, if the guy that sued Pepsi for the Harrier jet didn't win, she ain't winning. So I think he had more grounds to stand on than than she does. So I mean, look, here's my thing.
I see where you're
If you
coming from.
if you say that all I have to do is like follow the instructions and zap it in the microwave for 3 minutes, and at that point the food is fully cooked in three, I don't care about the other prep. That's like me yelling at Kraft macaroni and cheese for the box macaroni because it says it's like 12 minutes to cook, and I'm like, well, it's not 12 minutes to cook, guys, because first I got to open up the fridge, I got to get out the milk, I got to get out the butter, and then I got to open the box, and then I got to get out a pan, and by the time I do all that, I've really invested 25 minutes of my life, and that's just not a quick meal. That's false advertisements.
I mean, I argue with you that I wake up, I miss my alarm, I gotta eat a little lunch, a little breakfast before I go to work, and I'm thinking, okay, I got 5 minutes to be out this door. Let me throw this Kraft mac and cheese cup in the microwave for 3.5 minutes. That still gives me 90 seconds to finish getting my shoes on, comb my hair, and grab my car keys. And then I take a bop, boop, bop. Next thing you know, I'm already 4 minutes late out the door. No thanks, pal. No thanks.
You're killing me. How does this even make
Oh, I
it
know.
as a news story on the show?
Because I only found two, and I'm like,
Oh,
goblins like to have a solid three news stories. So there you go.
there you go.
Well, now that the hard stuff's over, Preston, you did the real heavy lifting on this episode, so I'll the reins and let you get after this, man, because you kind of teased this topic right after you got back from your guys' honeymoon. So
Yeah, because I ended up buying when we were down in San Antonio. We were on the Riverwalk Ghost Tour. They had like a book that's like Haunted USA, and it was like Haunted San Antonio, and it's filled full of stories. And then when we took my daughter out for her birthday, we were at Fantastic Caverns or Mystic Caverns, whatever it was called. And they ended
Mhm.
up, I was in the bookstore, and it was like Haunted Missouri, Haunted Graveyards of Missouri, and then like something else. And I'm like, well, shit, I've already bought one. I might as well buy like the rest of these because I'm like, holy God,
Yeah,
it's like a whole series of shows that we could be doing. And
yeah, for sure.
I'm like, let's start with this one. So this is where we're at. And mesquite, cedar, cactus, hobos, and a bustling metropolis. The modern city of San Antonio offers a unique landscape and ambiance to visiting tourists. Hundreds of years ago, however, the South Texas landscape and people were quite different. It was a breathtaking experience to those European settlers who, for the first time, stepped into a world of green grasslands, which they weren't that green when I visited, and rolling hills to the north, and buffaloes that freely roamed its lands. Despite all the beauty this land had to offer, its longtime occupants, the Comanche Indians, were less than thrilled of having visitors, totally agree, to the area. Fast forward today, and as you leave the flat land of the city, you make your way north to Loop 1604. On all sides, you'll find yourself surrounded by hills, and that, dear listeners, is the start of Texas hill country. But one specific hill will catch your eye, one that stands a little taller than the rest, right off what is now called Nacogdoches Road. I hope I got that one right. With its
I'd say,
tall,
yeah, I give you a solid 8 out of 10 on that.
yeah, dude, I nailed that one. With its tall, castle like tower. So gather around the campfire, all you ghosts and goblins, for
Tales of Comanche Lookout Hill. But first, a little history.
Comanche Lookout Park is located in San Antonio, Texas. The park is a measly 96 acres, but does have the fourth highest point in Bexar County, a gorgeous view, and an extensive history. Comanche Lookout Hill stands at an elevation of 1,340 feet.
Which for us,
Since the early days, the hill has been the vantage point of the area. The hill was used by a few Indian tribes over the years, mainly hunting and warfare because once one was at the top of the hill, the sky was the limit. You could see for miles and miles of landscape could be seen, and this was beneficial in preparation against enemy intruders. The first Indian tribe to inhabit the area was the Apache Indians. They were the king of the hill when the Spanish arrived, and then the Comanche came along and stuck their flag in the ground and laid their claim to the area, and they were kings of the hill. In the 18th century, yeah, see what I did there? In the
I
18th
did. I
century,
did.
Spanish settlers who were getting tired of hearing, you have died of dysentery, they shut off their Apple II computers and flocked to the area, hoping to make it their home.
A home without dysentery, which is horrible because basically it's just bloody diarrhea.
Mm, yeah.
Ugh. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Oregon
Wash your
Trail.
hands, people.
Yeah. The hill, which now occupied by the Comanches, was used as a landmark by travelers. Following the trails the Native American used, the road was dubbed Camino Real or Royal Road, which is now called Nacogdoches Road. So that I'm gonna take like a side second here. Do you think that's why Chevy dubbed their half car, half truck the El Camino because it meant the Royal? I just know. I just know.
Bet it might. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Interesting.
dude, I'm pimping around town in the Royal, baby. Yeah.
My
Anyways,
neighbor has an El Camino. It's pretty rad.
yeah. Front half is a car, back half is a truck. The front is where you drive, and the back is where you El Camino. Anyways, you can take Royal Road all the way from Nacogdoches to Barstrop, and the last stop was San Antonio. Because the Comanches were king of that hill, and from its vantage point you could see for miles and miles, that gave them enough time to gather the braves to set an attack. And because of their superior advantage in height, the settlers would often be ambushed and obliterated. So think of lots and lots of death, blood, and mayhem. But
Mm.
after years of death and fighting, the settlers finally gained the upper hand, and they became king of the hill. And around we go. The land surrounding and including Comanche Hill was part of the 1,476-acre land grant that was surveyed for owners James Conn in April of 1847. And over the following 17 months, the property was transferred to a number of owners, including Peter Gray, a lawyer and legislator and officer in the Texas Army, Alexander Patrick, and Ludwig Colquhoun, a surveyor and state senator, which frequent land grants and sales is not uncommon during this period, so nothing special going on there, just kind of a thing of the time. However, some of the residents in San Antonio will tell you the tale of how the towers was used as a lookout for the Indians or even a military, spot during the 1800s. However,
Mm-hmm.
paperwork doesn't lie. County records will tell you that an elderly man, an ex-military guy, wanted to build a house that resembled a castle. So it's always good to have dreams, and this guy had one. In February 1923, retired U.S. Army Colonel Edward H. Coppock came into ownership of the property. He was 44. He was a 44-year veteran of service who had fought in the war against the Apache and the Sioux in the Spanish-American War. He fought in the Philippine Insurrection and fought in World War I. He was also a history aficionado and a romantic who had spent time in Europe and who had decided that he was going to build a full-size U-shaped castle on the slopes and flat crown of Comanche Hill because building castles made him chub, and that's what he wanted to do. That was his lifelong dream. So he did it with the help of his two sons, Edward Jr. and some guy simply known as ES, and a Mexican laborer named Tarquino Cavazos, which nobody really knows about this guy. I couldn't find anything on it, and anything, the book that I pulled the information from and websites were just like, yeah, he hired a laborer and his sons, and they began to lay the foundations, and decided, to go at it. By 1928,
Hmm.
they completed the 4-story Norman style stone tower that can be seen on the hill today, and which was molded after a similar structure erected by William the Conqueror at the site of the Battle of Hastings in the 11th century. According to a 1948 newspaper article, in addition to this, over the 25 years that Kopp developed the property, he also built a stone lodge, several buildings, and a 2,500-gallon water tower, a Spanish-style corral, picnic tables, a barbecue pit because you got to eat barbecue, a tennis court because if you got
Yeah.
a castle, dude, you got to play tennis, and why not some smaller homes that have since been destroyed by fire. Both Copic and
Because why not?
yeah, why not? Both Kopic and Cavazos died in 1948. However, when they did die, the colonel's sons abandoned the project. Like, dude, fuck that's crazy. This guy's dead. Fuck it. We ain't lifting another brick. And
I know the story of Winchester House. Fuck that noise.
yeah, fuck that noise. So in 1968, they sold the land to a developer. Initially, the new owner began to move ahead with plans to develop the land and started by removing all the structures on the property except for the tower and some of the foundations. He's like, I don't need a fucking barbecue pit. I don't need a tennis court. I don't need these little stone lodge. Fuck all this shit. But I've always wanted a tower, so let's leave the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for whatever reasons, they did not move ahead with any new construction, and nothing was ever again built on or around the hill. And then the property continued to change hands over the years until the 1980s. The owner became insolvent and had to liquidate its assets, and that led to the U.S. government coming in, and they built like a little trust. A private group called Save Comanche Lookout led an effort to preserve the site, and that resulted in the Trust for Public Lands providing an interim loan to the city of San Antonio to purchase the site for a park.
I'd
During
like
this
to
time,
interject here and say liquidating your assets also sounds like you have dysentery. Go on.
yes, yes, it does. During this time,
I'm
the
a
Center
child.
for for Archaeological Research at the University of Texas released an archaeological investigation of Comanche Lookout Park, and it revealed some interesting things, but there were also some stuff that got left out.
3 pages of this report, pages number 2, 18, and 19, have all been redacted because they contain what is described as restricted information.
So I did dig a little bit deeper on this, and I thought, oh, this
Uh-huh.
is kind of nefarious. What's going on? Like, why are
Yeah.
we missing 3 pages, and what's restricted information? So come to find out that when you have an archaeological investigation going on, and they do like ground radar, and they do like a archaeological survey of the site, they will come up with hits of like gold, precious metals, and other artifacts. And they didn't
Hmm.
want anybody to like dig up whatever is there because there's a law in place that you can't go anything that's listed as an historical landmark or a site. You can't go digging it up, and you can't take anything off of it. So they're just like, people are fucking stupid. So let's not put this in the report. So it became restricted information. So, I mean, it's not like they found like like a satanic ritual site or anything like that. They basically found like some gold crosses and some jewelry and some other stuff, and they just left it buried there. So
As they should, because we've all seen Poltergeist. You shouldn't fuck with that shit.
yeah. So, over the years, visitors claim to have seen ghosts of many sorts in the area, in both the park itself and along the adjacent Nacogdoches Road, including those of Indians, soldiers, and settlers. People have reported seeing the specter of an old man pushing a rock filled wheelbarrow, and this specter has been identified as old Colonel Kopic himself. Like,
Oh,
even
damn.
in death, dude, he's trying to complete his passion in life. Like he's still chubbing, and he just wants to finish that castle. And
I'm just picturing like a Texan Sisyphus.
yeah, and maybe his spirit is just indigent about the people who vandalized his tower. I mean, in the
Yep.
late '80s and early '90s, people would throw rowdy parties in and around it. Supposedly, maybe some rituals were for calling up the dead, and other nefarious things were held there. And that's his
Uh-oh.
baby, and he's just mad about it.
Yeah.
There are also vague and largely unsubstantiated rumors of gold having been buried on the hill by the Mormons, who also ended up being massacred near it. So, like a group of Mormons, I guess
Ooh.
maybe they had their little the gold Bible that they got from the angel, and they were trying to like hide it somewhere, and they ended up in Comanche Hill, and then they got massacred, and so it's buried there. Maybe that's part of the restricted information. Now that I try to put two and five together, that that's still why it's redacted, because they're like, we don't want the Mormons getting that back, so just leave that buried.
Yeah. I
Oof.
think this whole thing started because they tore up the tennis courts, man.
I think
And they
Old
left
Man
them
Coppock
there.
is just really pissed about the tennis courts, and like Texas, they love their barbecue, and so you
Yeah,
took out the
man.
barbecue pit and you fucked the guy's tennis court. Now he's pissed.
Hmm.
So and
Yep.
we have the what do we in Kansas? Oh God, my memory sucks. The lights in Missouri, the
Pickleball?
Joplin, the Joplin lights. Um, so a lot of the
Oh,
residents of
yeah, the ghost lights, the Marfa lights.
yeah, and a lot of residents of San Antonio will tell you about moving lights that can be seen atop the tower late at night. One of the tales told by locals talks about how the tower would be lit up when Indians were approaching. Locals believe the lights seen at night are the very ones to warn of Indians advancing closer to or nearer the village. One of the more
Yeah.
dramatic episodes that has occurred at Comanche Lookout Park is described by Lauren M. and James A. Schwartz in their book Haunted History of Old San Antonio. So, a woman, we'll say her name is Lucy, was interviewed, and she'd like to take walks there late at night or early in the morning with her dog to the top of the hill. And
Hmm.
during one of those walks, she heard chanting or voices in the forest around her, and she just dismissed it as kids messing around, and she just kept experiencing it. So the last time she dared to go into the park, as she had descended about halfway back down, it grew unnaturally dark, and she spotted two strange-looking men with painted faces following her. When they screamed and charged, she and her dog turned and fled, running as fast as they could into the parking lot at the bottom of the hill. She turned to face her would be attackers, but as quickly as they appeared, they were gone. She left and vowed never again to return to the park, believing that she had encountered the spirits of Native American warriors.
Ooh, that's what I was gonna ask. Was it like just painted faces or actual like Native Americans? So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Tommy Aiden Owl, back on August 13th, 2016, had his own encounter right around 12:10 a.m. He said, I used to go up there when I was 11. The ground was always covered in animal carcasses. The stench of death constantly hung in the air. Something besides ghosts lived there. Something strong and demonic, and it's not alone. I noticed after I had been going there for a while, there was a shadow following me. I first noticed it sitting in my living room after one of my trips up there. The temperature got hot, and I saw a shadow on the wall, but it was like wavy lines and not solid. Whatever it is, it's still with me.
Dun dun dun. Justin Bayless, September 13th, 2020, wrote, I caught a picture of something terrifying in the woods when I went there at night for this reason. For about a year after that night, I kept seeing a hunched down, human like entity, pale skinned, always farting under my bed when I turned off
It
my
was
light.
me.
Yeah. At first, I thought it was my cat until I saw her in the living room one night asleep. And right after I saw the thing, as I went to my room, the thing in the picture followed me home, and you can see the picture on my Facebook. And that's it. That's all he said.
Look, I better see a fucking humanoid entity lift one leg up, just fucking ripping some dirty,
Yeah.
or I want my money back. Well, Gabriel V. Morin, back on January 23rd, 2017, said, I went and hiked at Comanche Park around 7 p.m. I saw lights flickering in the tower, but there's no electricity lines connecting to the tower. I saw about 3 shadows dancing inside in the tower. I also heard drums beat and stayed around to see if things changed. The longer I stayed, the louder the beats were and the colder it got. My whole body started to shiver and shake and tremble, and so I ran from the tower. The further I got, the warmer it became, and the less sounds I heard. When I got to my car, the air was still silent. No sounds, no cars, no people. Another time I went and all I could see were lights flickering in the tower, and I heard loud drum beats. Something haunts that tower.
Maria, no last name, January 31st, 2021. That was the
My
first time.
birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. Well,
Hmm.
not now, but when it gets there.
Oh, it's a good practice run.
Yeah. This was the first time trailing. I could have sworn I heard briefly like Native Americans chanting, but I blew it off. And I didn't know any of this history until now that I'm reading this article.
Huh.
So,
I'm surprised her story made it in the book.
yeah.
Well, I'll be
Yeah.
damned, man. And you guys didn't go to this area on the honeymoon, right? This is just from the book you got from the
Yeah,
honeymoon.
this was just from the book, so I thought this was a good little tease,
Mm-hmm.
to get things started. The one that I'm really excited about, and for our 1 year anniversary, we're going back, and this time we're going to stay at the Emily Morgan, which used to be the main hospital in San Antonio. It was built in the late 1800s. It was owned and operated by the church, so you have 14 floors, 13 floors, but we can't
Damn.
have the 13th floor, so it goes 1 through 12 and then 14 because 13 is an unlucky number. So
Mm-hmm.
13 floors altogether, and it was owned and operated by the church, and it was built during a time where tuberculosis and other things were just kind of running rampant, and so they have chutes, like little kind of holes in the wall on every single floor. And so as people were dying, the nuns would walk by and open up this giant mail chute and just kind of dump the body down the chute, and it would go all the way down to
Ooh.
the basement where the crematorium was, and then they just pick up the body and throw it in the burner. And it is said that they do tours where you can go to the basement at night, but you can still smell like that burning flesh, death smell. And the hotel
Ah.
itself sometimes has that very hospitally smell. You can see nuns
Mm-hmm.
pushing bodies down the gurney in the hallways, all sorts of weird shit. So that one's in there, and I plan on covering that one. But I thought, you know what, this would be a good tease for tonight. You
Hmm.
got Native American spirits chasing people around. You got ghost lights. You got a pissed off dude that is mad that they tore his tennis court down, and
I would be
so
too, dude.
that would be too. Yeah. So there you go, Comanche
W-
Lookout Hill.
Well, hell yeah, man. I'm stoked that you wanted to do not only just the subject you wanted tonight and to do kind of a series out of it in the not so distant future. But also, I'm stoked that you wanted to try this video chat thing here, man, because we did this with Global Strangeness, and you had the thought of like, why haven't we done this for the last 6 years.
Yeah, you know.
So this will be a lot of fun, man. Yeah, I'm stoked. I will probably fold the laundry that's behind me in that chair next time. So your
Oh,
recording area is a little more well kept than mine, but mine's not too shabby.
yeah, yeah.
Good stuff, buddy. Good stuff. And I would like to report that I think about halfway through this episode, that was my dog snoring. I did not rip a big old giant fart, but
Or I mean, it could have been that
long
ghost
time.
from Comanche Lookout Hill, man. It's underneath your laundry
That's
right
what it
now, just
was.
ripping ass. So
Just ripping, yeah, man.
yeah,
Just aerating my laundry. Hell yeah.
patoops, patoops.
Well, good deal, buddy. Now, speaking of Native American lore, have we talked about the? Oh boy. See, folks, this is the part that normally gets edited out whenever
Yeah.
we do a recording. But for you, you get to see all the awkward pauses here in my ever-growing topic repository. There is the Stakini. Have we ever talked about the Stakini?
It's not.
Stakini?
It's not ringing a bell.
Okay, sweet. Well, we'll get into that sometime too, because I thought about plugging that at the end of this episode, but then I realized it's kind of like a cryptid encounter that needs its own full episode to really chat about. So we'll get into that another time. But awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, what do you think, man? Next episode is going to put us right around the Christmas time. Should we dare attempt a third Christmas special, or just find just a whole different fun non-Christmas topic? What do you think?
I don't know. I think we could do a Christmas special. I mean, we've already done Krampus.
Mm-hmm.
We've already done the holiday goblins.
Mm-hmm.
We've done Mushroom Santa Claus. We've done Gryla and the Whipping Boys. There has to be
Yep.
something out there that we haven't hit on for Christmas.
I'm thinking you got to be right, man. We've done the Mari Loot, which is a giant horse demon ghost that just wants to come into your house and drink all your booze and eat all your food. We did Durul Nises, which is the little red caps. We did Hans Trap, the dirty, dastardly Christmas scarecrow. Okay, I like it. Let's see what we can dig up for our third Christmas special. And this time we're not going to have 5 years in between the first from the
Yeah.
second. I like it. Awesome, dude. Awesome. Okay, cool.
And
Well, what do you say
we
we
won't
end things
replay the first Christmas episode
number 17? Yeah.
yeah,
I
we
mean,
did
that
that a
is a
couple.
crowd pleaser, man.
It is a crowd pleaser. We did that a couple times, so
I've broken out the mushroom story at a couple different work Christmas parties for Shayla's different Christmas dinners we've gone to. Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm invited back every year, so Well, should we cut it here, buddy?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Sweet. All right, guys. Until next time, if you're on social media, please check us out on Facebook, the Pixelated Paranormal Podcast. If you are on the old Instagram, we are at PXL Paranormal. We have a Twitter, haven't touched it. That place is kind of a war zone right now, so who knows if it'll even be there tomorrow, but we are on Twitter as well. Presto, what do you got, buddy?
I mean, obviously we're on YouTube, and we're probably
Yeah.
gonna go live here and there. I don't know, but we have 147 videos. I looked at the analytics the other day, and out of all 147 videos, there have been
Mhm.
over like 11,000 views with all those videos. 223 subscribers. So YouTube's growing. We appreciate it. Thank
Mhm.
you. Um, like, subscribe, share. My mother, God rest her soul, just discovered YouTube, loves it. She's
I
always
gotta
watching it.
correct you. God rest her soul means she died, and I've seen your mom as of late. She's alive and kicking.
I mean, she is alive and kicking, but I'm saying,
I,
you know,
God rest
she,
her soul. She's just asleep upstairs.
yeah, and I come
God,
home,
my mother, God love her.
God love her. She discovered YouTube on her own and how to use the search
Uh-huh.
menu, and so I'm just thinking like, man, that's a whole different group of people that we haven't touched yet, and um, she enjoys it. You know, she's listened to a couple of the videos, and then looked up like giants in ancient history and like weird shit in ancient history, and it's like, oh my god, I just never knew that about aliens. And I'm like, I didn't even know you believed in aliens, Mom. Like, this is a whole new side of you. So you know what, if you're watching on YouTube Live and you like this, and you like the rest of the show and the content that you're hearing, I don't know, maybe share it with your grandmother, share it with your elderly parents, because who knows, they probably believe in Bigfoot and that they enjoy this crap just as much as we do. So likes, subscribe, share, do what you're doing, and keep helping us grow. And
Oh
you
yeah.
know, need a beard, want to grow a beard. Hell, maybe you went to Comanche Lookout Point or some other like haunted site across the United States, and now some demon shadow spirits following you home, farting underneath the bed, and you want to up your game a little bit, like a little ooh la la, and your beard's looking a little scraggly. It's not looking as good as what it should. I'm here to tell you, folks. Go over to BigDobsBeardBomb.com and use promo code PXLPARA for 20% off your order, and pick yourself up some scents like bay rum, fresh, citrus, mint, classic, sweet tobacco. And, after the demon rips a couple nasty ones, I mean, party on. It's going to happen. Your face is going to look good. It's going to smell good. It's probably going to counteract the crap that's going on in that bedroom. Like, you're like, thank God I got Dobbs in my face, because this is putrid. This is going to just, wipe me out. You'll thank us. 20% off your order. Go over to Dobbs. Get it all.
Did you drop the code PXLPARA?
I'm pretty sure I did. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't.
If you didn't, it's a discount code so nice, it's good to name it twice.
It is. So.
Look at us. Look at us. Here's what's cool about being on actual video. We can actually share cool visual aids like this. It is Christmas time. It is the time of sharing things you love with those you also love. Check out these sweet, sweet gifts. Now, my lighting's not set up properly in here, but check this out. This is an official, original Mapinguari action figure made by none other than our dear friend Baba Drock.
Ooh.
Now, just wait, there's more. Check this bad boy out. A little shameless self-promoting. This is the Drop Bear. Now, it's, again, blurry because my lighting in here sucks, but this is the art I did for Baba Drock for the Drop Bear toy. He's got so much badass stuff on his Instagram, on his personal website. Please go check him out, Baba Drock. He is a phenomenal artist, an incredible toy maker, and yeah, that's the kind of stuff we're going to be dropping on these live episodes. Also, speaking of complete and total badasses, please, if you're in the Wichita area, stop by, see our dear friend Leslie and the rest of the gang over at CD Trade Post, Pawnee and Seneca. How's that for ad-libbing?
No, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
We've
believer.
done worse. Yeah. Very nice. All right. Well, until next time, folks, thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it. Here's to many more, and cheers to the weird shit in the world and those of us that love to talk about it.
And stay spooky and stay on the paranormal highway.
The cast at Pixelated Paranormal would like to thank you for listening to this week's episode. Pixelated Paranormal is here to tell you tales of the fantastical, the strange, the unknown. Tales that will move you a little further down the paranormal highway. If you'd like to share your own listener story, we would love to hear it. Email us at pixelatedparanormal@gmail.com. Again, that's pixelatedparanormal@gmail.com. We'd really love to hear from you. Again, thanks for listening to this week's episode of Pixelated Paranormal, your guide to the unusual and the strange.